Welcome to The Worst One, a show on the internet where I could talk about the worst in everything and anything. Could be a movie, could be a book, could be about the wacky adventures of Ronald McDonald VHS tapes that are locked away in a hidden chest somewhere at my great-grandmother's house. Today, however, since Christmas is right around the corner, I wanted to talk about something a little different. See, I was planning on finding a trilogy of Christmas movies, making fun of the bad Christmas movie, and then that's that, the episode's a wrap. However, I felt like that's not what Christmas is about. Christmas is about the spirit of giving
and receiving.
And it's about more than revving up the serial YouTube machine so I can laugh at Tim Allen's funny mouth noises. It's about toys and presents and getting cool stuff. Also family and togetherness and eating a whole Christmas duck. As long as toys have been around, there have been a series of terrible and awful ones to go alongside the real good stuff. Sometimes people have terrible ideas. Toys today and toys from yesteryear could both suck big chunks. Yeah, kids have access to toys like Poopsie the Unicorn and the Nerf Dart Roller Upper, but for every
Soccer bopper
available to me, there was a moon shoe. And for every Beanie Baby, there was another Beanie Baby. I bet even cavemen had to deal with this. Grug got a sharp rock and all Krug gets are those crappy off-brand round rocks. All the lizard children laugh at you if you go to the tar pits with round rocks. On The Worst One today, I scoured the internet for some of the worst 90s toys. I picked the 90s because I'm 26 and was partially sentient during this period of time. Abandon all hope, all ye who enter here, for if these toys came alive, it'd be less like Toy Story and more like Small Soldiers. If Small Soldiers was bad and a slinky tried to kill you. Now, before I dive into this toy box and inevitably get a K'NEX jammed under each one of my fingernails, I will miss some toys. I will see a comment that says, Brendan Arnold, there is a toy that I think is worse than your worst picks and is objectively worse, therefore making me much smarter than you. Hand over the keys to your YouTube channel. To which I will offer a hearty retort. Nerd! If you think you played with a toy out there in the 90s or early 2000s and you're a 90s enough kid to 90s remember, tell me in the 90s comments below so I can call you a 90s nerd. Also, one or two of my picks may have been around in the 70s or 80s, but I can assure you that they were at peak popularity during the 90s. Otherwise, I wouldn't have them on my really cool list. I'll also say that all the toys I've picked get an absolute 0 from me, but that's my opinion, man. The first toy on my Brendaniel Isn't BuzzFeed list is the Slap Bracelet. You couldn't live through the 90s or early 2000s without Sammy What's-His-Name slapping the shit out of your arm with a goddamn slap bracelet. These were, as the name implies, bracelets that you slapped on your wrist. In a neutral position, they would be rigid, and a small nudge would have it snapping faster than your uncle whenever Star Wars is brought up. If Santa decided to put these in your stocking, then you either became predator or prey. Usually decided by if you were the older or younger sibling. Now, there's not much to say about these things really, except for the fact that the knockoff ones got so bad that they eventually had to recall them due to some children getting cut on the metal underneath. Thank you, weaponized metal accessories. The next toy on the docket of hate is actually moon shoes. Moon shoes were a lie and have never worked the way the commercials said they would. They would maybe get you off the ground an extra inch or so, but in reality all they did was hurt your damn feet in a consistently awful fashion. I had a friend that received these for Christmas one year. Pre-Christmas, they were excited to get their hands on the foot plastic, but post-Christmas, they would not speak of them. I later found out that the bands had snapped and almost snapped their ankle as well. Moon shoes didn't even get you to the moon. They got you blisters and bunions, but they can't put that on the box. The only place you're headed to is a podiatrist, so they can cut your feet out of the big rubber bands with the jaws of life. Super elastic bubble plastic has been around since the 70s, but definitely gained some notoriety in the 90s for being absolutely awful and all around terrible. You can call me a miserable old man who hates fun, and that's not entirely inaccurate, but I swear I popped a lung trying to get the bubbles out of this tiny little straw. You ever try to blow a bubble through a coffee stirrer? You would need to blow and blow and blow and blow all for a plastic bubble. Regular soap bubbles are more fun and easier than this. Oh, did I mention that the bubbles were made with basically glue dissolved in nail polish remover? Toys are fun. I love breathing in the fumes with some buds. Yak Back. Parents of the 90s, I'm so sorry you had to deal with so many weird voice recording toys. The Yak Back was a toy that just straight up recorded your voice and let you play it back over and over again ad nauseum. You could put what you wanted on there and replay it to, replay it. I mean, toys don't need a practical use, they're toys. I guess if you really liked Home Alone and couldn't afford a talk boy, this may work in a pinch, but the Yak Bak really won't help you deter any potential home invaders. It would help you slowly drain your parents' psyche and get them potentially further into the pit of despair, but it wouldn't stop a burglar. So, thanks, Yak Bak.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
Water wigglies, or water snakes, or plastic bags of goo with glitter in them, or as some kids called, squishy buttholes. We as adults can call kids' fads dumb as much as we want, but we really have to remember what hands we were dealt with and what toys we were excited for. There will always be a worthless trinket or bauble that does nothing but placate your interest for 5 or so minutes, and there is no bauble more sinister to me than the water snake. These bad boy toys seemingly came out of nowhere, but some research into the patent office shows the first commercial use of the name Water Wigglies was February 1998. There is actually a weird practical use for these toys other than making fun squishing sounds and trying to pop them. I found a forum post from 2007 on backyard chickens, and apparently they're used to assist in the incubation of eggs. Well, you can't say you don't learn anything from a Brendaniel video. I'm an official educator now. All right, here's one of the big ones. Beanie Babies. Beanie Babies literally ruined lives. You won't find many toys that tricked people into thinking they were valuable like Beanie Babies. I mean, here's a picture of a couple splitting their Beanie Baby collection during their divorce. The only modern equivalent to the fake collectible economy that Beanie Babies tried to prop up are the Funko Pops. And with Funko Pops, as much as I hate them, they at least have something for everyone, even if that something is beady eyes and terrible tasting cereal and Golden Girls board games. Beanie Babies were just series upon series of plushies that eventually plummeted down into the dark abyss of unsellable crap. My grandma owned a consignment store for a time, and she had big plastic garbage bags full of these things. She could not get rid of them. Beanie Babies weren't a toy. They were a pest, and I bet every landfill across the United States has at least one layer of sediment made entirely of Beanie Babies. Here's an odd one, the specific shape-shifting Punisher action figure. I mean, I never had this thing, but looking into 90s toys and discovering this mess makes me wonder why anyone gives grief to kids today about the toys they have. We were all huffing nail polish remover bubbles and shooting spears out of the Punisher's dick. I think after all this, I can turn down the grumpy old man meter just a little bit. All right, you're wondering, where is it? Where is it, Brendan? When are you going to talk about it? Well, we've reached near the end of the video, and I'm going to discuss it. Furbies. You may be a little irritated with me. You may have fond memories with Furbies, and I understand. I get it. You loved your Furby. You played with it, fed it, slept with it. It was your furry little monster baby. I, however, was on the receiving end of a Furby with a dying battery. So instead of happy nostalgia, all I get are night terrors about a small animatronic doll trying to stick its beak into my neck and suck my blood. You get a Furby? Yeah, okay. It's pretty nightmare on its own. But if the battery starts dying, it will not sleep. It will not rest until it has traumatized at least one child. I think they were and are so likable because of how horrifying they are. And I would not let one into my house as a man who has not let any monster into his house so far. Okay, I might let the Furby snake into my house, but that's it. You look at the E.T. Furby, stay it away from me. That's not coming 50 feet near me. Burn it, blow it up. All right, we're done. No more 90s toys. I'm gonna be cursed. All in all, if you were running in the 90s, you probably ran into these toys, and you may have had your fair share of fun with them. You might be a little younger and may have never interacted with these demons at all, and that's all cool. I'm just an idiot on the internet telling you what toys I didn't like as a child, and now that I'm a man-child in my 20s, it almost seems silly to hate some bits of plastic. But just almost. The raging tire fire inside of me will not forgive the sins of the past, and all of these toys that I have listed are absolute zeros. Thank you for watching. Please check out my other videos. They're also things, and if you like this worst one, check out the other worst ones. It'll be in a playlist up in the top right-hand corner here at the end screen. You can also subscribe. Hey, that's an option that helps me tremendously, and I always love it when I get more boys on my side. Also, I got a Patreon, and that also helps me out tremendously. I just like to talk about it because, you know, it's one of those things where eventually I'll pull myself out of the retail muck and I'll be a big happy baby boy. But for now, I'm gonna let you go. Let you think about what you've done. Let you think about the memories you've dredged up in my head. The toys are coming for me, and I know they're not happy.